Good technique.
Welcome everybody to the latest episode of the Road to Ragnarok, where we're covering all the latest information about the Ragnarok Games Strongman competition, which is coming up this February in Miami, Florida. As we've covered previously, this competition has attracted interest from a lot of people in a way that probably most new strongman competitions don't really, and a lot of that interest has been from people who've thrown hate and thrown shade on the competition. But that's something that does seem to be reducing it a great deal over the last few weeks. Obviously, in the last episode, we saw Rhiannon Lovelace, who is still considering a position perhaps of coming in to compete at the Ragnarok Games. It's part of her off season, but as she said, the prize money that's on offer is actually so great that she would consider, as an athlete at her level, coming to compete at the competition, which would be a great boost for the women's side of the competition in particular. But I think she would be a marquee name for the competition overall, as she's one of the most popular athletes regardless of gender in the world at the moment. In addition to that, we saw over the last couple of weeks Ralph and Mike, who are the organisers of the competition, doing a tour of the Miami Airport Convention Centre, showing us the space that we'll be using on the day. We saw like ground plans of how things are going to be laid out, and we also know now that there's going to be a 6th lane of competition, which has meant that there's space for extra athletes to be able to join in on the Ragnarok Games. So if you were thinking, I wish I could have got a place on there, maybe you get yourself in contact with Ralph now and see what's available. We've also seen that Ralph had a strong presence at the OSG official Strongman Games a couple of weeks ago. And we heard from Rhiannon last week that he presented himself very well and that she feels much more confident about the competition. And I know that he did some great networking there and got a few extra people involved that have really boosted the profile of the competition quite a lot. So we've now got Inez Carrasquillo refereeing on the women's side of things. She's one of the biggest names in Strongman at the moment now, especially after a performance at Giants Live last weekend. We've got Jacob Finnerty has been added into the men's open division. He's a fantastic competitor and that really boosts that division to have him there. Tim Buck, one of the guys who was already competing in the pro division, he finished 4th at OSG, narrowly missing out on a Giants Live invite, but he's got to be one of the favourites in that there. We've got Manuel Angulo, who's another world's strongest man competitor from this year, the most recent world's strongest man. He's been added to the Masters division, and surely he's got to be the favourite in that there. So yeah, it does seem that the profile of the competition is raising quite significantly, and the amount of hate that's out there seems to be pretty close to zero at the moment, which is absolutely fantastic. And we've seen some pictures available now of the trophies for the competition, which look absolutely unreal, and I'm really hoping that I can get myself up there on the podium on the day and pick up one of those axes or hammers, because they look absolutely mint. As I've done in the last few episodes, I'm going to have a look at one of the events that's going to be happening at the Ragnarok Games, looking at how it relates to myself as a competitor and how the men's pro might stack up on the day. The last couple that I've done have been the log and the deadlift. I mentioned it would be quite hard to look at the front hold. I started looking at stones. I think that stones, it's going to be a difficult one to see what people are going to do for reps over yoke, and I think I'll probably leave that because I can't see zeros really happening in that. I think the weights are being picked relatively well there. They'll be hard to challenge people, and you're not going to see people throwing them stones around for double figure sort of numbers, but I think that that should be a good event. But what we're going to look at today is the monster or circus dumbbell press event, which it'll be happening on the 2nd day of the competition. So we'll have eliminated half of the field of athletes and we'll have the cream of the crop left for this event. For myself, in the heavyweight open division, we've got a 205 pounds dumbbell, which is just over 92 kilograms. That is a hell of a weight to be getting used by guys in that sort of open class. It's slightly heavier than what was used at England's strongest man this year, which was a 90 kilogram dumbbell. I do think that there will probably be some zeros in there, or there'll be very low numbers. I don't think it'll take much for somebody to win that event. For myself, it would be a 12 kilogram personal best to actually hit 92 kilograms, but I do feel confident that with the coaching that I'm getting off Danny Weatherall at the moment, I will be able to achieve that by the time the competition comes around. There's quite a fine margin between the weights in the different weight classes, so the pro class will only be doing 20 pounds more than what we'll be doing, so they'll have a 225 pound dumbbell, which equates to 100 kilograms. I've had a look through the social media, what I can for some of these gents, and I think that I feel confident that the majority of them are probably going to have a chance of lifting that dumbbell for at least one rep. I had some difficulty with some of them, so we'll just go through a few of the guys who I've had a look at and see what we think about who's going to have a shot of winning this event. So Anderson Aguiar, was difficult to see what numbers he was lifting, but he's done a 160 kilogram log. Hard to say how that really relates to a dumbbell press, but I would expect he would probably be looking at getting close to at least hitting one rep of that. Aurelien Lejeune, he, 5-time France's strongest man. He's got videos of him hitting 100 kilograms easily in training, so he shouldn't have any difficulty with that. Ayub Mohammed, we saw him and Lejeune both at OSG. Mohammed hasn't got any videos or pictures of him doing circus dumbbell on his Instagram, but he has hit a log of 178 for 3 reps within a minute. So don't see any difficulties with this guy getting 100 kilograms overhead on dumbbell. I think he will be one of those guys where if he qualifies for the second day, he'll be pushing for first place on this dumbbell event. Brad Neitzel, there's a video of him doing 100 kilograms on dumbbell, which looks relatively easy. Dean Evans is a guy that I've covered a few times the last few weeks. I can't find any dumbbell videos of Dean, but he's strong overhead. He's done a strict barbell press of 170 kilograms for 2 reps. So I think Dean, again, will be someone who'll be pushing up there for this. He's a very powerful, static type of competitor. Quite a few people, I can't find content of them pressing or content at all. Emil Jensen, no dumbbell videos, and the videos of his other overhead events don't look particularly massive. Jacob Finity, we already covered earlier in the video that he's been added to the lineup, and he's well known for his pressing ability. He has the block press world record. He got a 430 kilogram log at the World Log Press Championships earlier this year. I don't see him having any issues in getting reps on that dumbbell, and I think he will be probably the favourite for this event. We've got Joachim Kvick, he's got 100 kilogram lifting training, no bother. Maximilian Kleinwachter failed 80 kilogram as part of a medleying competition. I think maybe he'll struggle. Nick Gentile, I've got no dumbbell videos that I can see for him, but he has done a 420 pounds axle with reverse bands, so it's a bit hard. That's the best overhead lift I can find for him. It's a bit hard to work out where he's going to be sitting on that. There's Peter Reintaler, can't find any pressing videos for him for years going back. Limited content for Salatogi Lawalamaga, nothing for Patrick Taloni. Tim Buck, he's a guy who finished obviously 4th at OSG. He lifted all the dumbbells in that medley, with the last one being 240 kilograms. I think you'll be seeing him get a good few reps out on this, and he'll be pushing up there with the likes of Dean and Ayub and Finity and people like that for first place in this event. Travis Ortmeyer, he's your big name really for this category, but he does have a great deal of issues overhead, and I would assume he'll qualify for the second day, but I don't think that he probably would be able to get this dumbbell, unfortunately. And then we have Tiago Apreciado de Oliveira, who I can't find any circus dumbbell videos for him that have a weight listed. He's lifted big dumbbells, but doesn't mean that they're heavy. and he did a log ladder recently where the last one was 160, so I would assume that he has quite a lot of shoulder power. It doesn't always translate to a good dumbbell, but again, he's another guy who I think if he's there on the second day, he's going to be getting a few reps of that probably, you would assume, but maybe not pushing for first place with those few guys that I've already mentioned. So for next week's video, I'm hoping that I can get an interview done with either Mike Della Parva, who's the expediter, whatever the word we're using for that is, for the games. He's organising all the events, he set the weights and stuff like that. I did interview him once already but didn't record the sound because I am stupid. Or if not him, then hopefully we can get some time with the captain, Rolf Avalone, and see what he's got to say about where the organisation process is at the moment and hear what he's got to say. And it'll be nice to maybe be able to hear from him now that the content that's out there about the competition's getting much more positive. So that'll be interesting. So again, thanks for taking your time to listen to me, and I'll catch you next time.